Hey, good morning, you guys. This is end of August garden tour. Just want to show you guys around my garden, see what's blooming and what looks a little tired. I've been working on it. It's a constant work in progress, so I do apologize for the mess. But I just want to show you currently what looks great right now. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I garden in zone 8A. This is the front part of my house. So I'm going to start with this corner over here. All the way over here is the crepe myrtles. If you're in the south, you all have probably some form, color variation of crepe myrtles. But these are crepe myrtles over here. They were about 15-20 feet when we got into this house, and so we're slowly working on this house and landscaping. But I did a hard cut back to the crepe myrtles because they're actually too big to be right next to the foundation of the house. So we had to cut it back to prevent it from getting to the roof and the gutters and all of that. So right now I love the structure. I mean, I cut it and now it looks like a bouquet, a big huge bouquet. And it's the correct size, I feel, for this area. I've still got a whole bunch down in the ground level where I need to start figuring out what I want to do with it. Right now I just kind of mulch it to keep the grass at bay and weed at bay, but it's working and it's not, and I still got to move some stuff because I had to trim back the crepe myrtle because it suckers really bad at the base. This is one thing, if you train your crepe myrtle, you'll get suckers at the bottom of the base of it, and you have to maintain it. Otherwise it looks like this, which I haven't had a chance to come back here and do this, so it suckers really bad. If you want to look at the trunk of the base, which is really unique and beautiful in its own way, you got to clean it up. Otherwise you'll miss this beautiful aspect of the crepe myrtle, which is its trunk and the bark. And then over here starts my front flower bed. I've got roses over here. Sorry, I don't know the variety. Actually, this one I believe is Miranda Lambert. That's really the only one I remember. I got my hardy hibiscus over here. It's still blooming, although the leaves look really bad on it because they've been chewed up by these little tiny looking green worms. You got to spray it, and I tried treating it in the springtime, but I didn't keep up with it, so it just got worse. But the flowers are still in bloom and it's pushing new growth. And actually it had its flush of bloom, but you can see new buds are coming in, so it's actually recovering, even though it has like barely any leaf to survive and sustain itself. This is a red bud I got from my neighbor. It's a little seedling that took root, and then it grew. And she had a big, huge one in her backyard, probably 20 years old. And seedling dropped, and she had them everywhere. So she said I can dig them up and then plant them. So that one's over there. I have some hydrangeas, which I love hydrangeas. They're beautiful and they are super showy. They are still super showy even when everything is starting to, you know, get a little bit distressed from the heat and the humidity we have here. But as you can see, the problem I've got is it doesn't turn to the reddish pinkish color like they always show with people who are more cooler temperature, I guess. Mine goes from this beautiful lush color, which is when they're emerging. I've got new growth here. It's got buds on it, so they're healthy. But once it gets to this stage, then it kind of goes to this stage. It has a little tint of pink that you can see, but then it just goes straight to this brownish color. And I can honestly say it's not due to lack of water, because we've had so much rain. I think I lost some of my plants to root rot because it just sits. You can see how wet and moist underneath the ground is. This hardy hibiscus I just transplanted, so it looks pretty sad. but the flower actually came out today. It's beautiful, and eventually it will root itself in and then grow. They get to be about 4 or 5 or more, but they die back all the way, and then they push out new growth. These are just cuttings that I've taken, and they're about a year old. This one as well. I think this one might be 2 years, but they're super hardy. They grow super fast, and they provide amazing color in the summertime. And as you can see, they're still performing. I mean, they're still sending out new buds, so that's good. And then my roses, I mean, they were looking super sad during the heat of summer, but I think now that it's starting to cool off just a smidgen, I'm getting, of course, new buds. New buds are coming out. They're looking better. This one still has a whole bunch of, the black leaf mold and fungus issue that you will never get rid of. At least I never got rid of. They're still there on every single plant, but at least they're looking better than how they were. I've got the 2 standard Miranda Lambert that I trained. Super easy. They're really beautiful though. I got coneflower, sedum over there in the back corner. In the front I have salvia and then lavender hedge. I love lavender. They smell amazing. In this pot, the geranium is still doing good. I think I need fresh soil in here, and then maybe give it another feeding, because we still have some hot days still coming up. So it's still blooming its head off. You can see all the flower in it, but it looks a little tired. Over here on the other side, this is my front entrance. I haven't done anything over there, but I'm hoping to eventually work in this area. Over here, the front, I lined it. I took out all the lavender that was here, except for a couple back there. You can see that's still alive, because they were root rot from how much rain we get, and it sits here and it pulls up. So I had to pull all that up, and the sedum that was here, I had a whole hedge of sedum all along here, and I had to pull that out too because of root rot. The roses are doing good though. This is another, it seems like Miranda Lambert is my favorite in the garden. It's the one that performs the best for me. It does have the black spot and the mildew issue, but it's the one that always bounces back, always gives me flowers, and it's always beautiful. I love it. Coneflower over here, and then I have verbena, salvia, just to line this front area, purple and red. I love that color combination. I actually saw it on a YouTube where I think Laura did a Jack Barnwell's Mackinac Island show, where he had a cottage that the front yard was lined with purple and red, and that's why I got the color combination. I am not very good with color coordination. I just plant what I love. If I go to a store and I see a flower and I'm like, ooh, I love that, or I love the way it looked, that's what I'm taking home with me. I don't have the artist eye like a lot of people do that can, put plants together, color coordinate it. That's not me. So I just plant things that I love. This is a Bobo hydrangea. You can see here what I'm talking about. See how it gets this beautiful white luscious bloom? And then it doesn't go to that shade of pink color that a lot of people with the cooler climate do. It just goes straight to green to brown. So it kind of looks messy up here. I don't know if I like that. I want more structure in the front of the area. I have roses. I do apologize again. I don't know the name. This one's pretty. It's not my favorite. It just doesn't have the structure. Like, it starts out like your typical beautiful rosebud, but I just don't like this look. It's not one of my favorite, but it's beautiful and I need some color. Another rose. Sorry, I don't know the name of it, but isn't this one beautiful? And then more hydrangeas in the back. Those are limelight. I haven't figured out, because they flop over so bad, I think I'm going to start training some of them into a standard, which is a tree form. And then that way they kind of do the cascading over like a vase style like you see with the crepe myrtle. I transplanted some coneflower up here to give me a pop-up flower since I had to take away those sedums. And then I have, these are phlox that I transplanted. And they look pretty sad, but they're spent. And I deadhead them and hope to get another flush of bloom, but I'm not sure if I will or not. And then over here in this corner, I just have a smorgasbord of stuff over here. So I have another Midnight Marvel hardy hibiscus. You can see what my favorite color is. Isn't this beautiful? Look at the structure of it. So that's a hardy hibiscus. Got some salvia over here along with the lavender. I have over here, this is a Japanese magnolia. They bloom in the springtime, really. This is the saucer magnolia. I got it from an Etsy nursery online, and it looked decent for $5. I mean, you can't beat that. And look at it, it's growing really good. It's got issues with the powdery mildew fungus, but my big main one, which is at the front of the house over here, it has that issue too, but it's thriving, so I just let it be and let Mother Nature take care of the issue at hand. I got some cutting over here that I rooted and transplant. So these are, what are these? Dianthus, I believe. They'll be pretty just to cover this little area. The Persian shield plant over there, beautiful, doing its thing, provides a pop of color. This is an oleander. So I posted a picture of my angel's trumpet. I have plants like oleanders, poisonous as well. There are quite a few plants that are poisonous to pets. My dog seems to know to stay away from it. I know some people say that animals don't know the difference, but I think they do. I mean, a lot of plants grow out in the wild, and you don't see wild animals just laying dead everywhere from plants. They lay dead everywhere more from roadkill than plants. But I do keep my eyes on it in case she does decide to munch on it. But honestly, she hasn't touched them at all, and they are beautiful. The other one I have also is in the ground and in pots, and that's the angel's trumpet. But she seems to stay away from them, so I'll keep an eye on her. She's my dog. See, that's Xena. Xena, say hi. Isn't she beautiful? Yeah, we know you're beautiful. Huh, come here. Come here. She listens when she wants to. Good girl. Can we get a shake? Oh, you want a kiss? You want a kiss? You want a kiss? Good girl, huh? Such a good girl. Okay. Give lots of love. Oh, here is actually another example of the angel's trumpet. It's not blooming, but it's doing healthy, and it's great in this corner. This I have is my, a Butilon. It looks like a Chinese lantern flower, and right now there's no flower. That is odd. I've never seen it without flower. But you can see new buds are pushing out. So they provide constant flower for me throughout the entire summer. And I say this and there's no flower on it. But most of them have been spent and dropped off, and you can see new buds are coming in to give me more flower. So definitely get one of these if you can. And I haven't seen it at the nursery in the south, so I don't know where you would get it. I actually got this in Colorado when I went to visit my mom, and I flew with it back home, and it's been doing great. It likes to be part sun, part shade. So over here it gets afternoon sun. You can see the Bradford pear covers the morning, and then it gets some sun in the afternoon. The Persian shield over here is doing great. I transplanted the elephant ear. It looks good. It's a little bit stressed from the heat and everything. This leaf looks like it's gone, so I'm gonna pull it off. But a new one is pushing out right there. I think they're so fascinating if you guys look at it. I mean, each leaf comes out of a stem. So like, here's one right here. This one, this huge, big, massive one came from this stem, because you can see where the opening is right there. And then this new shoot is coming from this stem. I think that's so fascinating how it propagates. That covers my front entrance. We are gonna go look. Oh, so underneath my Bradford pear, it's so shady and I don't like the way it looks around it, so I planted some hydrangeas. They're actually doing pretty decent. All of these are from cutting. And then I'm actually, oh, here's a flower. So my abutilon, I did a whole bunch of cutting and I'm rooting them and putting them in a pot over here. But see, this is what they look like. They're really dainty and really pretty. Guess what? What color are they? Red. They are one of my favorite colors of all time. So the hydrangeas are doing really good around this corner. They aren't blooming right now except for this one. But these are the mop head ones, you know, the big, huge, big ones that you see. And the variety, I don't know since they're all cutting. So some bloom on new wood and old wood. Some only bloom on old wood, meaning like they set their blooms last year to bloom this year. So they usually, see how the stem is woodier? That's how, if it blooms on that part of the stem, like this part is woody and it sends out a new bud. And then here is what the result is, you get a flower. So it blooms on old wood. Now the new wood, I don't know if there is even any new wood over here. It seems like they're all old. But usually with the new wood, it just won't have any blooms. I'm gonna come over here to the front. I don't know if any of you guys have trouble, but in Georgia, I get these mounds of anthills, and no matter how many times I treat them, they're still there. They won't die. They won't go away for me. This is the front mailbox flower bed over here. I just have a lot of repeating stuff, but you can see salvia seems to be one of my favorite. They are reliable. They bloom. They give me color. I mean, literally, if I prune them back, they keep on coming as long as I feed them. So salvia, I would recommend just plopping them into the ground. They do really good. Over here, this is bee balm. And they seem to be doing an amazing job. Look, this whole new flush of bloom. I had cut it back once it was done, and then it rewards you with more. Another hardy hibiscus that you can see has got its leaf chewed off. I'll show you the culprit. Let me see. I just saw one. Where did you go? So it's these little guys right here. Can you see it? Right there. It's this little guy right there. I can't get it to zoom in. But it's this little tiny guy that likes to eat on all the leaves, and that's what it turns into. Him and his million of siblings eats them. I got a standard butterfly bush that I just transplanted over here. I had to cut it back so that it can, continue to develop its roots instead of worry about flushing with flowers and things like that. A hydrangea in the back, and then a pinky winky over here. And then if you look all the way over there in that corner, it's a long walk from one part of my yard to the next. But I have a limelight hydrangea all the way over here. Zena, come on, stay off the road. Good girl. This is another limelight hydrangea, which I planted it over here to eventually cover all the electrical wirings over here. It seems to be doing great. See, so it provides a good showy interest. Well, we're at the end of August, so when everything else has kind of died back from the heat, they're still flushing. Only bad thing, like I said, it's starting to brown over here, and then eventually it will all go brown instead of turning the pinkish color that I had hoped. But it's in itself makes a great statement. Come on, Zena, let's go this way. And then I'm going to show you the side of my driveway, which is still a work in progress. I don't think I've actually finished anything in my garden. At least it never seems like it, but there used to be all weeds over here, and I transplanted all these hydrangeas because this is a shady area. My neighbor has this, I think this is a birch tree, I want to say. 20 plus years old. It sheds like crazy. It provides so much shade. I can't really grow anything else over here. So great area for your mophead hydrangea. I have a whole bunch of stuff over here. I have some lily, that's the long tall looking stalk. I have sedum. I have butterfly bush over here, which they struggle over here because it's too much shade. So I'm hoping this whole area will fill up because this is still new. So all the plants are still growing. Here's some more sedum over here that I transplanted. It's drier over here, even though it doesn't get as much sunlight. And it needs a little bit more sunlight than the hydrangea. But they get afternoon. You can see over here, they get afternoon sunlight. So they seem to be doing well over here and they're not flopping. Planted some of my abutilon. So I only had one abutilon plant, and from that I have multiple plants now from cutting. So this is what it actually looks like. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. And the hummingbirds actually love it too. And you can see I have so much more areas to plant, so that's future work right there. Current ongoing projects. There's lamb's ear right here. Loves the shade. It's doing great. More butterfly bush. Here's some that I've trained. This one I trained into a standard, so I will plant it somewhere else. The dianthus, here's another form. They did a really good flush in the springtime. I cut it back, and now it's just like here and there. It's not really full and luscious like before. These are my calla lilies. They were beautiful in the springtime, but now they're just sad looking. They're almost over. There was one that was right here, and all the leaves you can see are starting to wilt and die back. So there's something there in the ground. I couldn't remember that I planted something there, and then I had planted something over here, and I had to I had to pop it out of the ground because I didn't realize, but they were starting to come out. So this is a lantana. Isn't this lantana pretty? It's beautiful. I love the color. It's so soft, but it seems to be a little bit bushy, and I think it's because I didn't prune it back sooner. Zena, come back. Of course, more hydrangea, panicle hydrangea. They are doing well. I've got some roses up here sporadically. I have no idea what this flower is, you guys. It was here, and I transplanted the bulb in the midst of all the bushes. I feel like they're just floppy. Like the leaf structure is so floppy, but the flower is really pretty. It sends off this one huge massive stem, and then you get all these buds. Like these ones are already spent, but here are these buds that turn into this flower. Here's the start of one, smaller, you know, and then as they age, look at this, and they turn into this, and then eventually they go aged, and then they start to die off. Here's another of the same kind but different variety. This one I love. I mean, look at it. Isn't it beautiful? And these guys grew literally the whole entire summer, and then they just send one stalk of bloom with all these multiple flowers. This one was just so pretty. I was gonna tear it up because I didn't really like the structure of the plant. It just seems floppy to me, but this flower is so pretty. I think I'm gonna keep it. If anything else, I'm gonna keep this one for sure. But it provides, I mean, a different variety of flower and plants. More butterfly bush, just different. I think they're all different kind. I just don't know the name of each of them. More than likely, I get cuttings from my neighbors, and then I root them, and then I grow them. Over here, more salvias that I've cut back, and they're sending up new flush. salvia seems to be the mighty plant. Over here is hardy hibiscus, another variety. It looks like I'm getting new growth. Xena, stay. I'm getting new buds coming in right here. But these are not Midnight Marvel, even though they look like it. They are not. They're more pinkish in nature. Let's see, crepe myrtles. Crepe myrtle here, crepe myrtle there. Some bloom earlier than others, as you can see. I also have a red crepe myrtle over there. It's a diamond collection, I believe. I got that one on sale. I just thought that the leaf structure provides so much interest, and I wanted something, of course, red. So there's your red crepe myrtle. These are all salvia, different forms. They are way bigger than the other salvia that I planted in the front of the house, so that's why they're out here. The pollinators love them, and the hummingbirds love them. Another great flower right now is the Kufia Vermillionaire. Another great hummingbird attraction. You guys can see I want to attract hummingbirds, so I have a beautiful Japanese maple over here that I'm training to grow big. Speaking of bumblebee, look at that one. It just like planted itself into... Look at that. They can't even fit their head in there, and they try to squeeze their head in there. Isn't that crazy? He really wants to get in there. But they definitely love that. Let me see. And over here, I have yarrow. Yarrow does really good in the springtime. Right now, it's just kind of blah. I don't know what's going on with it. I had to trim back my crepe myrtle over here. Got some roses. I think that's a knockout rose, which knockout roses, they're okay. They're just not amazing. Butterfly bush. This one is in full sun. You can tell the difference between the ones in full sun versus the one that are not in full sun, how they bloom. The habit is amazing. More Vermillionaire, coneflower, another dianthus, I believe. Coneflower, Vermillionaire, hydrangeas, and then I've got hydrangeas all the way back there. I'll show you that area in a second. Right now, let me swing you over here to this is my baby bed. This is where I put all the stuff that I rooted into the ground so I can watch it, monitor it, make sure that it's doing okay. Training this panicle hydrangea. This is vanilla strawberry or strawberry sundae, and it's supposed to do the whole two-tone color, starting from the bottom, going pink and then the white at the tip, and then eventually flushing all the way to pink. But you can see it's going from white to green to brown, so it's kind of a disappointment, but it's still, you know, it still provides the interest. This is a lollipop or a standard tree butterfly bush that I train. I think I did a couple of videos on it. Over here, limelight. Look at this Vermillionaire. I mean, it's like almost 4 feet over there. It's loving its head off in this flower garden, and I actually need to transfer it out of here, but I love it that it's right here by the window, and I can look out and see my see the hummingbirds. This big long tree looking thing in the dead center is called a Confederate rose. They are really pretty. To me, they kind of remind me of a Rosa Sharon. They actually grow super duper fast, and they're easy to propagate. I haven't seen any flower, and it's almost to the point where they're too tall. I'm not going to be able to really enjoy the flower because I got to look up. So I might have to trim it back next spring. But I'm going to definitely remove them. They're just too big right here. And then down below is I got this is another Japanese magnolia. And so is this one and one over here. Let me see. Am I even pointing it to the correct plant? Sorry, I can't see it in the screen. It's over here. Let me get a closer picture of it. Right there. And I'm training some not limelight, some hydrangea. I think this one's a pinky winky. That's a limelight. The other one with the big fluffy balls over here, this is another limelight. And then I have a whole bunch of little Japanese maple that I'm growing. These are all little tiny ones from seed. Those ones I think are from cutting. So all of mine are not grafted. They're actually its own root system. So this is my baby bed where everything comes in, and I'm trying to either baby it to its full potential or just trying it and seeing what I like. But see how big this vermilion there is? That's crazy size. And this one hasn't really sent out too much flowering, but the leaves are turning, and I don't know if that's because it's thinking it's fall, which for some reason it's still the dead heat of summer, but leaves are starting to drop for some reason. So I don't know if they, Mother Nature knows things before we do. So I'm pretty sure they're gearing up for a cold winter. But you can see all the plants on, all the flowers on this side versus barely any on this side. Training this rose into a standard as well. I'm coming back here. Those are my pinky winky hydrangeas up there. They're kind of, I feel like it's the meh kind of face, because they're supposed to be like this vibrant red pinkish color. I'm going to show you what the picture shows right here. This is the picture of what it should look like, and in actuality this is what it looks like. So I don't know, I've had this in the ground probably for 2 years now, I think, and it's not wowing me, but I think I'm going to give it another chance and see why it's not performing. Knockout roses over here doing its thing, beautiful, but I just don't, I like more of the hybrid like regal looking rose. So those ones are okay for landscaping, but I'm more into this kind of rose. Look at this one, isn't she beautiful? And this is another butterfly bush that I'm training into kind of a multi-trunk standard, which is a tree form. I think it looks really pretty this way. This is another crepe myrtle that's starting to bloom. Can't wait to see what it looks like. Got some more hydrangea. These two is loving its life, doing its thing. It's floppy, but it's still good. Now, wouldn't this be an amazing showcase if they all start turning pink like I hope that they would in the pictures and in everybody else's video but mine for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it seems like it just goes from this color to brown. Zena! This is my back area right here. I haven't really done too much yet. Well, actually, we've done a lot. We had to remove like 20 trees just so we can plant, because the trees were all the way up to the house, and it actually provided a dangerous spot, because if any of those trees come knocking over, it would actually do damage to our house. So we had to remove that. Elephant ear, you guys, they are over 5 feet and their ears are monstrous. But aren't they beautiful? I mean, look at that statement, just the plant in itself. And I actually just bought one. Look at the structure. They look like massive tree trunks. And then from one, you can propagate, like, see how this has one right here, this corm looking thing? I just pull it and then I stick this into the ground, and then you get more over there. So that's where the other ones are coming from. This is my burning pile. We have actually been here every summer taking care of all the weeds, and they grow faster and bigger than what I can tackle. So it's a never-ending process. Crepe myrtles over here. Let's see, what is this? This over here is Rose of Sharon. Isn't it beautiful? This is a Rose of Sharon. Rose of Sharon's is doing great during this time frame when everything else is lowering off. Coneflower, lantana, doing amazing. Daisies. I'm not sure about the daisies. I don't know if I like them. They provide pretty pop of white, but once they go brown, I just feel like they're This is the mother plant of my hardy hibiscus. You can see I treated it, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work for me. So they're being eaten alive. But you can see they're still sending off new flowers, so I'm gonna have to, I don't even know now in August if it's even worthwhile to treat it. My other Rose of Sharon doing a great job over here, blowing its head off. Isn't that pretty? Definitely put some of these into the ground to give you guys the color. I mean, look at all the buds, flowers. The flowers that have already been spent, and more flowers excuse me, in the way. Look at all those buds coming out. Isn't that beautiful though? Oh, you guys, it's starting to get so hot and humid. This is a Pinky Winky Hydrangea. Look at the stem on this sucker. Look at how beautiful it is. See, this is the flower, and it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but then it goes to this, and that's okay, but it's not that pretty. The only one that I really have that went pink, look at it. If you guys look, it's truly turning pink. I was most happy about this one, and I have no idea what kind it is because I got it as a cutting. I've been training it into a standard, and of course it was white to begin with like everything else, but this one for some reason actually turned pink on me, and I don't know what I did differently. You can see the side that gets the most sun gets more pink than the underside that doesn't. But I don't know what I did over here to cause them to turn pink, and I don't know, it's probably just the variety. So since I love this color right here so much, I'm gonna propagate and grow some of these to provide me with that pink interest that I've been craving in my hydrangea. And I honestly don't know the variety. Maybe you guys can help me out if you know what it is. But I have so many variety here, and this is the only one that has turned into this beautiful pink color. It actually is even more pink than I remember, because I think I did another show, another video, and it wasn't like this. But now that is beautiful. I could see having hydrangeas and then having them all turn this color before they go brown. Now that would be worthwhile. But you can see the contrast if you put one right next to each other. Look at this white versus right next to that pink. Isn't that beautiful? Let me see. Can you guys see? And then over here, I had a hydrangea over here that slowly died back, so I had to cut it back and let it flesh out again. My tomatoes got tomato blight. I didn't take very good care of it, but it still got tomato on here. My Mayor's lemon, which died back completely, don't plant it outside. I would not recommend it because it'll die back on you every year. And if you're lucky like me, it'll come back, but if not, it's just gonna stay dead. So I wouldn't recommend planting it out into the ground because we get temperature below freezing. Not often, but every once in a while. And it doesn't like temperature less than 40 degrees, really. My jalapeno, I don't remember this kind. And I think I didn't mean to get this kind. I have no idea what it is. But I meant to get the mammoth jalapeno, which I have over here. And it comes in a 3-pack or a 4-pack, and I don't know, somebody might have changed it. So I end up with these. They taste the same, no different. Again, tomato blight. I put a lavender in here to attract more pollinators so they can pollinate all my plants, my vegetables. Another hydrangea over here. I have my grapefruit tree. Both of these are pomegranate trees. Over here is my beautiful angel's trumpet. Heat of the day, they kind of shrivel up. At nighttime, they come out again. They're really dainty. Very beautiful. Very showy. My Rio Samba, I had to cut back. It looks like it's experiencing some issues with the mildew and black spots. But it actually has sustained the whole entire summer beautifully. Look at the new growth that's flushing back. Here's some of the flower. Definitely recommend this rose, you guys. It has performed its head off, and I'm very happy to have this flower. All the other roses where it was struggling, this one from early spring till even now, and I'm thinking it's gonna keep on going until winter hits. It's gonna keep on performing for me. Look at how strong it is. Elephant ear over here. Beautiful statement piece right there. This is orange. I don't remember what variety it is, but it's an orange tree. This is my mango tree. I'm trying out some tropical fruit over here. My mango tree. It looks like it's doing well. And over here is another abutilon. This is the mother plant of my abutilon. It still has flower and it still has more. And if it looks a little bit tired, just prune it back and new growth will come out and it'll send you more flowers. So hummingbird love it. I put this here right by the door just so I could see all the hummingbirds that come. This is a guava tree. It's doing amazing, sending out new leaf. I didn't know how it would do when I got it out of the box, but I pruned it back some and it's sending out new growth and it seems to love it. All of the tropical fruit trees I have are in pots because I move in. They recommend you be in zone 9 to 11 in order to plant it out in the garden. I'm in zone 8, so it does get a little bit chilly in the dead of winter time and I don't want to risk it, so they're in pots. This is not guava, this is avocado. This is my avocado plant right here. This is another Mayor's lemon one. I thought the one I planted in the ground was dying. Is dead because there was nothing to it, no life. So I cut back the main trunk and lo and behold, that's what the shoot came out that I showed you earlier. But this one is a new one that I bought to replace the old one and it's doing fabulous. It hasn't given me any fruit yet, but it's doing good. This is another avocado tree. It's sitting up new shoot, seems to be happy. I'm hoping to get fruit on it by next year. That might be wishful thinking, but I'm still wishing it. I've been talking to it. It might enjoy my conversation because it's sitting out new leaf, showing me love. This over here is blueberries. I put this one out in the ground and then it wasn't doing well, so then I put it back in the pot and it seems to be doing well, so I'm gonna leave it in there. Plus, when I put it in the ground, the birds came and ate it all. As opposed to being in a pot where it's closer to human, then they don't tend to fly over here as often. This is another hardy, it is a hardy hydrangea, but it's a panicle hydrangea. I think this one is I want to say it's a little lime because the structure of it is not like the big, huge limelight. Even though the nursery had labeled it as limelight, I just feel the structure in itself and the color is more true to little lime than the limelight. And I think that concludes my garden tour for August, you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're enjoying your summer. And I hope that you have a great day. I will see you in the next one. Oh, before I close, see that moth? I think it's a moth hummingbird. Is that what they call them? It's on the... Oh, there it goes. Can you guys see him? Sorry, the mess behind. Don't concentrate on that. But definitely you get a whole different variety of animals bugs and insects to come around when you are planting your garden. Oh, there's a hummingbird. Can you guys see him? He's over there in that. Oh, there he goes. He flew off. I will see you guys in the next one. Look at me, I'm all sweaty. See you guys later. Thank you for watching.